Thanks for watching a brand new Blitz. I'm Brian Carter. Today's show is presented by Jackie Jones Ford and now Habersham. I'm here at Dawson County with Lady Tigers head basketball coach Steve Sweat. As always, really appreciate having you on the show. Thank you so much,
buddy. Hey, I appreciate you being here.
I love covering your team. You're one of the favorites to have on the show, and I say that often. But, last time we talked, it appeared as though you may be stepping away. A great surprise to find out that even though you did retire, you were able to come back and take the reins of this program. Talk about what that was like to be able to come back and still be able to coach this team.
Yeah, Brian, I tell you, well, first of all, thank you for talking about it and being able to talk about it. It's I remember that conversation well, and you've been very nice to me and Dawson County Lady Tigers, and we appreciate that. It's always a joy to be on with you, and you may get yourself in trouble saying that we're one of your favorites now. All them other people are going to take offense to that. Anyway, we're glad you're here. We appreciate you coming out to Dawson County, and anytime I can talk about my girls, I call them, then I'm more than willing. So, and I know you asked some questions about me, but I'm not really all about me, and I think you know that.
Yeah, I do.
But it was a good thing, and I think I could sum it up probably best by saying Dawson County loves basketball, and I'm just blessed to be the one that happens to be the girls basketball coach here at Dawson County for a long time. And with all of that said, they've been really good to me. And they continue to be good to me because I'm in a position now only because of being blessed by the man above. Absolutely. And being blessed by the people who God has put in my life here that make the decisions for these kinds of things to happen. Yeah. And so for all those people, I'm very grateful. And because without them deciding that this was going to happen, and the fact of me standing here talking to you today wouldn't be taking place. Yeah. So I'm really appreciative of the fact that they allow me to do this and continue to do this and be able to work with the girls.
And it's been a great season so far, 17-game win streak. I know it's been snapped recently with back-to-back losses, which is tough. Yeah. But how does this, with the 17-game win streak and then last year's 29 in a row, how do those compare?
Well, they're very similar. I mean, we were on the same track as we were last year, until this weekend. But then, you get to thinking, and let's put things in perspective. We talked about it this morning. We hardly ever, even last year's team, this year's team, we don't talk much about the streak. That's everybody else does that. We don't need to. There's plenty more people going to talk about that. So what we do is we just focus on the next game. Now, obviously, we've lost some focus here in the last two games, which we worked on today of getting that focus back. They are very similar because of the pressures that we had. When you sitting there at King of the Hill, it's everybody's sees you. Yeah, you can't hide.
You got the bullseye on your back mentality.
You got the bullseye on your back, and I told them, I said, girls, everybody's going to come with trying their hardest because, why not? They want to beat the team that's at the top, and it's a compliment that's us, but it's also a lot of responsibility.
But what's that like when you had the two teams that were able to take you down, East Hall and Chestatee, two very great programs, sure. But you handled them pretty well the first time throughout the season. Right. What is it this time that made the difference?
Well, I think the difference being the way that they played, and I told both of their coaches, I had a chance to talk to Coach Daniel, but he had his team ready to play, and so did Coach Wheeler. They did. I said in the paper, you may have saw it, that I think both of them, especially East Hall, was the most patient that I've ever seen East Hall, which is a good thing to do. They put the ball in the right spots. And then if you would have had seen the game Saturday night, that's two Hall County teams, and I'm sure they probably talk to each other, which is what you ought to do, and find out, okay, what'd you do that you think helped you beat them? And then it was a very similar scene over in Chestatee's gym watching Chestatee do what East Hall did the very night before.
So something then to correct for you all. And again, you kind of alluded to a lack of focus, so I'm sure that's going to tighten up a little. It's hard for me to not see that you're not circling that date again at East Hall in the region tournament.
Well, I just, you hope you get a chance to play as many games as you can.
Yeah.
Now, who it is, right now, I'm not really worried about that. I just want to be playing in them games that keeps you moving forward. Yeah, keeps you alive. So, and when those games happen, and we hope that they do, then we'll decide what we're going to do against who it is then. So, I'm not going to stand here and say I'd rather play this one or that one or that one or that one because, like you just said, the first time we played them, we went in double overtime with East Hall. That's always going to be a knockdown, drag out. But the other one was not against Chestatee, but then this time it was, And if we don't do what we're supposed to do, you've heard me say many times, in this area, you better be ready to play every night, or it's a proven fact from last Friday and Saturday that you're going to get beat because that's just the way the teams are around here, which is great. But you got to stay on top of your game or you're not going to win.
Now, what's impressive to me, though, is this year we knew that it's never easy to replace two 1,000-point and 1,000-rebound players, but you did that, and Cheyenne Seabolt and Ashley Parker. But you alluded to this last year that, there was going to be a change of pace in the offense, and Karlie Bearden, Caitlin Simpson, Haley Burgess have done an excellent job at that. I'm sure you're absolutely got to be pleased with the way they played so far this year.
I have. Those two are, they take on a lot of responsibility. Whether you like it or not, we talked about this morning that, when you accept the role, you accept the responsibility. And whatever role you're in, and my name's at the top of the list. So, I got a lot of responsibility, but okay. Then that if I'm not going to take the responsibility, then take your name out of the position. Oh, yeah. So, in their position, they are a couple of leaders on the team, and they're going to have to accept that role, and they've done a wonderful job. Karlie has worked herself into a good all-around player. Of course, for us now, she's played 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 position at different times. Now, Haley, one of the best things about Haley, I think, is the fact that Haley has really worked hard to become a point guard.
Oh, yeah.
And she has done that. She's worked through the years, through the summers, through the off seasons, all that stuff, and played ball. And because she's going to have the ball in her hands, and of course we talk about, I need her thinking like me because, that's the coach on the floor kind of thing, or extension, whatever you want to call it. And we've been able to do that. And I think that helps. And she's been able to accept that role and know that she's going to have it. It's going to be in her hands. And so, you're going to have to learn how to handle the ball.
and like you said, she's done a phenomenal job. The way she moves the ball around and passes unselfishly. Yeah. Now, one girl that came out of nowhere to me was Kaylee Sticker. I didn't see that coming. It looks like a miniature version right now of Ashley Parker or Cheyenne Seabolt, a potential 1,000-point scorer in the making. Very impressed with her so far.
We hope so.
And the reason a lot of people hadn't seen her is because she came straight out of middle school to starting on the varsity. But she's a heck of a player too. Plays, very mature. Plays well above her grade level, and so when our job is to put the best players out there, and we start 4 seniors and a freshman, and she's the freshman. So she's got good skills. She's got a good basketball mind. As the old saying goes, she's basketball smart. And, we look for her to do big things on the court. And as I've said many times in the past, we don't ask them what grade they're in before we put them in the game.
We hope she is. And I know I told somebody the other day, I think we've had, 4? I believe we figured up in the last 4 years, maybe we've had 4 1,000-point scorers, counting going back to Carly Gilreath. And so, I said, well, I guess it's pretty obvious, which their coach sort of likes offense, obviously. But, you got to have the most points to win. But you also got to stop the other team. And this year's team, I think we can do more on defense because we can move people around and we can get after it more on the full court, which I think has helped us. That's one difference from last year. Now, we pressed a lot of times because we had to, you know, we can press now just because we want to, if you want to say that.
You got to make the winning a habit for sure.
Because every one of them, I mean, why play the game if you ain't going to try to win? So, you know, and everybody knows that. We've had some slip-ups. We don't want any more slip-ups. So, you know, we're going to do everything we can from here on out to win every game we play.
That's what I wanted to hear. And, Coach Sweat, again, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on a great last few years. It's been so much fun to watch. And I would love to expect to not see y'all lose again this year, make it back to Macon, and win the whole thing. That would be awesome.
I hope you get that, and that would be fine with me because, you know, these kids deserve it. They deserve that because of who they are, what they are, and what they do, and they deserve that. And I know every coach probably feels that way about his team, but I mean, and I feel the same way about mine. They deserve everything they can get because they're that good of kids.
As do you as well. Can we get a Go Lady Tigers?
Go Lady Tigers.
All right. Cool. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.